Let's talk about it. Okay, you, Capricorns, this is you here. We have the Empress, the Magician, Knight of Swords, and Three of Cups. What I'm seeing here is your energy. Trying, and I'm only saying the words trying because of what's happening in these cards, which we'll talk about in a minute, but your energy, endless amounts of energy, endless amounts of positivity, trying to manifest a certain outcome. But there's kind of this splitting here, because what we're seeing in this, which is generally extremely positive, and it just screams of capability and probability that something will come to fruition. What we see here is kind of poorly thought out action that can come across as being very rash and kind of scary to the recipient. And then we also have the Three of Cups, which can indicate third-party relationship, or kind of, this also can indicate the need for getting together with friends and family, and like eating and drinking and being merry. But when we talk about a third-party relationship here, we see these three waterfalls all running from the same emotional place, but they're splitting here, and one is clearly bigger than the other two. So one person, if this is a third-party relationship, one person clearly has a lot more emotional either investment or interest in the other person. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily mean that this person is like playing you, or playing, you know, or spending time with somebody else, but keeping you at bay. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it just kind of means that there's a splitting of interest here and a splitting of energies. And one person is clearly a lot more interested in the, or invested in the outcome. But what's interesting too is they all kind of come back together here at the bottom, as do waterfalls. So this talks about emotions, splitting of emotions, or the need to come together in a positive emotional place with people that are like-minded, friends and family, etc. But there is this strong kind of rushing in energy that is, it's like too much. Okay. And out of all the cards in the whole tarot deck, this is the only one that can be somewhat considered quote-unquote dangerous, because clear air signs, so this represents an air type of energy, they're ruled by their thoughts and their actions, and they're usually very logical and analytical, and they think through things before acting, just similar to you, Capricorns. But with this Knight, he doesn't think. He's just rushing in and trying to fix something, or trying to manifest something, or trying to do something. And it's resulting in splitting of energies. Even though there's this endless positivity, and even though there's this endless amount of energy to make something grow, because the Empress does mean fertility in, it can mean pregnancy, but it also can mean fertility in making something grow. Okay? Adding to it, building something, growing something. And but notice too, she's looking towards the past. So you're focusing on something that is in the past or was in the past, and she's trying to manifest something in the future, but it's coming across as like too much, and it's causing the splitting of the energy. Maybe that's why we have this barrier here. Okay, let's talk about your person, whoever this is in your life. If you're completely single and not interested in anybody, or nobody's interested in you, then, you know, I'll kind of feed that into this. But the way I do this reading kind of is that there is somebody in your periphery or on your mind. Okay, we have here, I'll pull these over so you can see them. We have here the Ten of Swords, the Star, Four of Cups, and the Eight of Cups. Okay, Capricorns. So what we have here is the Star represents two things. It means continued belief in faith and hope in love. This is a love reading, so we're talking about love. And this person wants to believe in love, or does still believe and have faith in love. Not necessarily with you, but just in love in general. They kind of are having this view that love trumps all. But this card also represents healing. And they are definitely going through some sort of healing process. And we can see this because they are very shut off to emotions. The Four of Cups, everybody's offering them love, offering them love, offering them love. And they're sitting here with their hands crossed, not accepting any of it. Maybe that's why there's this barrier here. They are protecting their emotions. The Eight of Cups, protecting emotions, walking away to protect emotions, cloaking themselves with pride and ego because they have been hurt. They don't want to face the emotions. They can't face the emotions. They're afraid of the emotions. Whatever the case may be, there's a protective aspect here to this card. There's a protective aspect here. There is healing. There's no reciprocation here. Okay? All of this water, which represents emotions and a watery type of energy, okay? Emotions, love, fluidity. All of this water, it's crashing over the rocks. It's running over the rocks. It's rushing up onto the beach. But this shell, which represents them, your person, it's just sitting here. It's not allowing itself to be affected by all of this emotion, They are in a protective, guarded place here because something in their life has caused a great deal of pain and hurt. Ten of Swords, the highest level of like betrayal and hurt and pain that we can go through before we start really moving on with our lives. Okay? This is a very dark card. They're kind of running in this place of death and darkness, and traditionally this card is the man laying on the beach and he has 10 swords stabbing him in the back, and there's blood everywhere, and there's kind of the sun coming up over the horizon, but it's on the other side of this lake, which represents there is an upside to it. The sun will still rise the next day, but there is a sea of emotion that they've got to go through first. So this person is here in this place. They are healing. They are not accepting. They're not in, at least from you, okay? They're not accepting this. They're protecting themselves. They are protecting themselves. Okay? Challenge, benefit, outcome. We have the Seven of Wands. The challenge. There's a defensive quality here. And there's maybe possibly a need to have your defenses up. Maybe there's a possibility, or maybe they are kind of warranted in having their defenses up. You feel warranted in coming towards them in this way. Okay, but it's like pushing together in this way and nothing's coming to fruition. There's just causing more barriers. And this card, this white wolf, represents, in the Chariot card, there's the white horse and the black horse, or the white wolf and the black wolf, and then the Chariot. This card represents the story of that Plato talks about how the ego and the personality has 3 parts, and one side of the personality needs to take charge and direct the other ones. That's why there's this kind of, this is the white wolf. It's like the positive aspect, but it's also talking about the need to take a directed action, but in the light. Okay, let go of this darkness, let go of this stress, let go of these barriers, and move forward in a positive way. This may or may not mean with you. The benefit is that there's the Nine of Wands card, and this card represents the need or the want or willingness or ability to fight another fight. Okay, the battle's not won, the battle's not lost. There's still another wand that can be picked up and carried along the way. But the outcome is the Hanged Man. This is a watery energy. Okay, this is keeping emotions at bay, waiting for signs. They might be waiting for signs. You're not waiting for signs. Maybe you need to be waiting for signs. I don't know. There's no sense of waiting here. This is all action and kind of too much action here, trying to manifest this. And you're trying really hard to manifest this, but you're being met by barrier. You're being met by the need to wait. You're being met by barrier. You're being met by hurt. You're being met by the need to heal. You're being met by the complacency. Okay, so the challenge is, how do you move forward? How do you, Capricorns, move this in a positive direction? How do you move this in a positive direction? How do you move this in a positive direction? And can you? You want to, but can you? Not this week. Okay, patience. But this patience card doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a positive outcome. It just means that, you know, there needs to be waiting this week. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull some clarifier cards, and I'm going to pull them all at once so it's not like me shuffling and talking, shuffling and talking, shuffling and talking. So give me a minute to pull these clarifiers. Spirit and universe, please clarify this magician for Capricorns. Please clarify this magician for Capricorns. Please clarify this magician. Please clarify the Knight of Swords. Please clarify the Knight of Swords. Please clarify the Three of Cups. Please clarify the Three of Cups. Please clarify the Four of Cups for Capricorn's person. Clarify the Four of Cups. Please clarify the Ten of Swords. Please clarify the Ten of Swords. And please clarify the Hanged Man. Okay. The Magician clarified by the World. So you're trying to, again, start a new phase. The beginning of the major arcana cards. So you're trying to start something maybe before something has fully ended yet. You're pushing it to Capricorns in some way. Or you're trying to just really end something so you can begin something new. Okay, with them, with somebody else. You try to get past something. Because you really do want something to grow. Three of Pentacles. This is augmenting a union with something else. Okay? Allowing something to grow, leveling up in relationship, leveling up in love, getting into a commitment, getting into a proposal, getting into a marriage, getting into a live-in situation. You're trying to manifest something else in the relationship, but I'm sensing you're trying too hard. You're pushing it too hard. And what you're being met with is secrecy and hidden information. Frankly, with the Moon card. Okay, this is the card of Pisces, hidden information, okay, emotions. There's the spirit world here. That when we talk about the Native American aspect of this card, there's kind of the dark spirits, and then they believe in like the protective ancestral spirits that are keeping us safe from the outside spirits. And then they also believe in animal spirits that lead us and guide us and help us see. Okay? Because hidden information, he's holding his eyelids open so he can see. He's really trying to see because there's a fogginess here. Ten of Swords represented by the Two of Swords. Okay, they are trying to decide. They have a decision to make. But it's this kind of incessant buzzing in the back of the head, in the back of their head, or in their life. It's like this is represented by the locust here. And when locusts swarm, it's this incessant buzzing. So there's all this pressure. There's pressure to make this decision. And it's really being met with resistance and heartache. It's being met with complacency. It's getting met with barriers. So they're aware that a decision has to be made. They're aware that it's coming from an emotional place on their end. They're aware of it. But like they're so hypersensitive and hyper aware of it that it's just causing like pause. All right. Four of Cups clarified by the Two of Cups. Okay. This can be, or at least you're trying to, they maybe want it to turn into a love situation, a soulmate situation, or at least giving, because it's usually the two cups, two people giving each other their emotions, giving each other their cups. So they're aware that you're wanting it to be this. They may want it to be, but they're not in a place, they're not ready yet. And I don't know, Capricorns, if this is about you per se. They're going through something. And if this is a current partner or long-term marriage partner that you're dealing with, like, don't bug them. Like, they're fully aware. Okay? They're fully aware. But they are kind of in this pausing place. They're trying to decide because they may want this too in life, maybe not with you. Now we're talking about current partners. So they may want this too. They may want to get back to this. But this pressure that I'm sensing with this Knight of Swords that you're doing, Maddie. Sorry, my dog's snoring really loud. I'm sensing this barrier here because they're feeling really pressured, when in fact, if that would just kind of release and go away, then they might be more apt to coming towards you and talking to you. And if you're completely single, okay, this kind of section is moot. But it still, even if you're completely single and have no dating prospects and you're wanting to start getting into a relationship, you be careful, because you might be pushing it a little too hard. You still have to take directed action, but you're ready to fight another fight. You're still wanting to take directive action. You still have the energy. You're wanting to end one phase so you can start another one. But this Knight of Swords is concerning to me. Okay. And then the Hanged Man clarified by the King of Wands. So this is a fiery energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And this is really talking about, this is speaking to you, Capricorn, saying that they're waiting and you're waiting, because they're trying to kind of make sense of what their soul is feeling and telling them to do. Okay, they're keenly aware, again, that there's feelings and decisions and direction. It's like they're aware. Okay, and you might be aware that they're doing this too, but an action needs to be taken. But I feel really strongly that the action is to just wait. Okay, they've got it. This is an internal card. This is the card of Leo. It's talking about, and Leo, it kind of represents the ego, okay, the lion, the king of the pride. It talks about like listening to your heart, listening to your soul. And when your outcome card is the Hanged Man, you have to let them listen to their soul. You have to let them, without pressuring. You have to let them figure it out. You can't persuade or push them into doing this. They're figuring this out. They're doing this internally. They have to do this on their own. Okay. All right. Let's pull some high-level advice and guidance cards, Capricorns. High-level advice and guidance. High-level advice and guidance messages for Capricorns this week. High-level advice and guidance messages. And again, if you're completely single, like you're getting ready. You are getting ready. Don't psych yourself out. Okay, this reading may have been a little scary to some people, but yeah, don't psych yourself out. You're just getting ready. You're really ready with that Magician card and the World card. You're really ready to move forward into a relationship and into, romance and a love life. Just slow down a little bit. High-level advice and guidance. High-level advice and guidance for Capricorns. Knight of Pentacles, slow, strength, remain positive, remain strong, and work, okay? And back to if you're completely single, okay? And remember when I said kind of if you're completely single and you're trying to manifest a relationship in your life, slow down. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight. The actions he takes are the slowest of all the knights. The Knight of Swords, the fastest moving, most irrational knight. This is what you're doing. Advice. This is what you need to do. Not necessarily towards a person, but towards your love life. Okay, the Strength. This is again the card of Leo. We have the Lion here. It reflects this. We also have a Lion here. So you very well may be dealing with the fiery energy, but this Strength card is telling you to have faith, have strength in love, and it is going to take work. It is going to take Eight of Pentacles, means putting your head down and working. But, you know, there's this sacrificial lamb here, and this talks about kind of the innocent belief that hard work will pay off. So you need to have that, but like calm down, really. That's kind of the message. Okay, there can be good stuff in your love life, but you've got to calm down. And again, back to this Hanged Man. Okay, back to that Hanged Man. All right, Capricorns, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that reading. Thanks. Bye.